An empire that began with cheap hamburgers in California now dictates what millions of people around the world put on their plates. But when the only affordable meal in your neighborhood comes from a fast food chain, do you really have a choice? Behind the promise of convenience lies a system that turns schools into showcases, children into lifelong customers, and entire communities into food deserts. A model so powerful, it shapes public policy, drives government subsidies, and even decides which cultures are worth marketing to. But what happens when that machine begins to crack? When an empire built on aggressive marketing and mass production shows its first signs of weakness? How did one brand manage to fill the spaces left behind by the state? What's really at stake when you're choosing between a salad and a Big Mac? And how much freedom of choice do you actually have? To understand that, we need to go back to the origins of how this empire was built. To understand how one company came to influence what millions eat every day, we need to rewind to the origins of fast food. The concept emerged in California during the 1940s. In a post-war America obsessed with efficiency, speed, and convenience, the McDonald brothers turned burger making into an assembly line. By the 1970s, fast food was no longer just a quick meal. It had become culture itself, tied to the pace of modern life and mass consumption. McDonald's thrived like no other. From a small burger stand in San Bernardino, it grew into an empire with over 28,000 locations in 120 countries. Today, it controls roughly 25.2% of the global fast food market in an industry worth more than $822 billion. But it wasn't just about cheap meals. McDonald's mastered the art of emotional branding. Ronald McDonald, the clown mascot, targeted children directly, cementing brand loyalty before they even had purchasing power. Those children grew up associating the brand with fun, family, and comfort, creating lifelong customers. The strategy extended into schools. Particularly in lower-income districts, cafeterias were filled with branded meals, exclusive vending machines, and even sponsored educational content. In some schools, children were exposed to daily fast food ads, blurring the line between learning and consuming. Even more controversial was McDonald's racial and cultural targeting. By the 1990s, the company launched campaigns like the Fiesta menu, aimed at Latino families, and celebrity-driven ads featuring Venus and Serena Williams to appeal to Black communities. By 1998, it's estimated that a quarter of McDonald's sales came from these demographics, highlighting a deliberate strategy to dominate marginalized markets. Nowhere was this clearer than in West Oakland, California, where 30,000 residents had just one supermarket but dozens of convenience stores and fast food outlets. For many families, the only affordable and safe meal came in the form of a McDonald's combo. This is what experts call a food desert, when healthier options vanish, leaving fast food as the default, not the choice. McDonald's empire was built on aggressive marketing, strategic territorial dominance, and the irresistible promise of cheap convenience. But behind the golden arches lies a darker question. When corporations fill the gaps left by government neglect, how much freedom does the consumer really have? At first glance, it looks like you're in control. The menu is full, the options seem endless, and the choice feels personal. But in reality, for millions, there is no choice. When McDonald's is the only affordable and accessible option, freedom is nothing but a carefully constructed illusion. Experts call this food oppression, when marketing, politics, and economics shape your decisions before you even realize it. The impact on public health is undeniable. Over 40% of American adults are obese, with fast food as one of the main culprits. Diabetes, high blood pressure, strokes, heart disease, these have become the silent costs of convenience. Globally, obesity is linked to more than 325,000 deaths per year. And in Black and Latino communities, metabolic disease rates are disproportionately higher, reflecting a toxic mix of inequality and predatory marketing. But there's another layer: government policy. U.S. agricultural subsidies pump billions into corn, refined oils, sugar, and meat, making processed fast food ingredients artificially cheap. Without subsidies, the real price of a Big Mac combo could be 3 times higher. Meanwhile, fruits and vegetables remain expensive and underfunded, further narrowing what people can actually afford to eat. The targeting begins young. The average child in America sees around 10,000 food ads per year, many for fast food. In lower-income schools, McDonald's infiltrates cafeterias, vending machines, and even lesson plans. The aim is simple: create customers for life. That cracks are appearing. In 2024, McDonald's reported a 1.5% drop in global sales. And in early 2025, U.S. sales fell by 3.6% in just one quarter, the steepest decline since 2020. Are consumers finally waking up? The risks also extend beyond health and into safety. In 2024, a McDonald's E. coli outbreak linked to the Quarter Pounder sickened over 104 people and killed 1. A stark reminder of what happens when mass production collides with fragile food safety standards. And while cracks show in the U.S., the empire expands abroad. In Latin America, McDonald's operations are run by Arcos Dorados, the largest franchisee in the world. Its license is secured until 2044 with royalties of up to 6%, guaranteeing decades of market dominance. So we must ask, when subsidies, marketing, and inequality funnel millions toward a burger and fries, was that really your decision? Or was the choice already made for you? In the end, eating has never been just about taste. It's cultural, social, and deeply political. When McDonald's dominates your neighborhood, when a burger costs less than an apple, when children grow up associating school with soda machines, choice becomes nothing more than a marketing illusion. Because if you don't have options, you don't have freedom. But there is resistance. Cities like New York and Oakland have banned junk food and soda from public schools. Across the country, community gardens and grassroots food projects from Los Angeles to Chicago are reclaiming local control and creating healthier alternatives. Policy experts argue that change will require bold moves: taxes on ultra-processed foods, subsidies for local farmers and fresh produce, and strict limits on child-targeted advertising. Others believe that consumer awareness and grassroots activism could push the industry to reform, much like what happened to big tobacco in the past. But the fight is uphill. In 2025, fast food giants spent hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising just in the UK to flood the market with junk food ads ahead of new restrictions. If corporations can shape the debate with money, how much power does the average consumer really have? Maybe the real question is this: if the only place to eat in your neighborhood is McDonald's, was the choice ever really yours?